Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I have not had, speaking comfortable, an Apes rant in a long time. And, you know, my channel has been dedicated to playoff basketball for the past, since the playoffs have began. I've loved doing it. But, of course, I got other stuff that I do on this channel, too. So if I don't keep up with it, I'll let it fade away. So this is an Apes rant. For a lot of y'all who follow my channel, you may be aware that I'm very much one of those crazy people that have their money thrown into one of those meme stocks. I've been following the situation since pretty much the craze really began. And, you know, I've gone through very tough ebbs and flows in my life since that process began. Tough mental hurdles, struggles, mistakes, situations have saved, you know, my backside, you know, things that could have been a lot worse otherwise went well in this process. It just felt like, even though I've struggled mightily with this process, holding these shares, I've also felt like I've had a whole lot of good luck or blessings or favor from on high, however you equate those type of coincidences. I've had a great deal of support coincidentally come my way out of pretty much nowhere since I started this process. And never, even though I've been on the edge of falling completely off in this process, everything going to crap, for some reason or another, every time it gets close to doing that, I end up being able to care for myself going forward since this process began, even though I've struggled, you know. So for me, as a spiritual person, I just kind of go along with that. I look at my life in a certain way. I look through my eyes a certain way, as to where when something comes along, you believe in it, and you know, you have everything aligned in your life to where you could throw yourself at it. As to where maybe your next brother or your next person who may hear the news may not be able to do as much as you can because of the circumstances they live with. And I feel it's my responsibility to throw my entire self at it to the best of my ability. And maybe my ability is not good enough, as I've learned over the last 15 months. But the point is the intent and the all-in nature of my intent, I guess. I don't know. The fact that I'm all in is not wavering, even as it continues to go through lows, quite serious lows. And that's really what it is. I came here to say that I know there are a lot of people who are joining this fight for the first time, or maybe have been in this fight for maybe like 9-10 months, where they're really going through it. And I just want to let you guys know, for those of you who are thinking about selling out of your position, just know that I went through so many different processes, to so many different things, so many different phases within this process. I went through I'm excited because I've found something that I think could go up. I went through oh my God, they took away the buy button. Now my stock is being thrusted into the ground, and I don't want to sell my position because I know what's going on with the movement at this point, but it's still early, so I don't know if I believe in it to that degree, but forget it, I'm all in. Till it dropped all the way to $5, and fortuitously, my Dogecoin was also booming to the sky. I was telling you about those coincidences. That was one. My Dogecoin and that thing were going in two different directions at the same time, so I was able to sell that and get the lowest possible shares since, you know, since that. It was like last February, that thing dropped to like $5, and I was able to load up in a very good way for myself. And then another aspect of the situation was keeping my shares after that, seeing it go up a little bit and come back down, getting all the way up to 70 something, and then realizing I hate my job, hate where life was going, hate the fact that I hadn't made it, hate this, that, and the third, but the money is represented to take off from work, so I stopped working. And I went through the ebbs and flows of not working and trying to hold these shares, which had me living like a person who didn't have any income at all for pretty much since this entire time. I barely buy myself anything. Only thing I really buy myself is maybe some shorts to walk around the house, and you know, my leisure stuff, my vice stuff. Other than that, everything else is rationed to the smallest amount, and held on to for too long and gone without. I haven't bought myself no clothes, ain't bought myself no furniture, ain't paid no bills, everything. Credit is in hell. All of it so I can be a part of this in a way that allows me to both do it and not work. Now, the not work part is the problem, for sure. But for me, you know, just going through that process of working, getting all the way to where I was so unhappy, it got to a real bad place for me mentally. So I just said, I can't do this anymore. It got to a point where it was getting really dangerous for me in my head. You know what I mean? Just knowing that I was a part of this process, this AMC, knowing what our shares should be worth, knowing that I want to take care of this aspect of my life and that person I love, and I can't. I'm holding something that's worth all this money, but I can't do nothing with it. I got bills piling up to the yang, but can't sell. You know, even though the money is represented to pay the bills, I got to sit here and let it sit because I got to make sure I'm holding these shares. So it's just, I made life very hard on myself, you know, in this process. And I think that was part of the psychological damage that I allowed this to do to me. I'm still here. I listened to the FUD. I went through the ebbs and flows of paying too much attention to social media, getting too close to the Wall Street Bets, AMC forums and stuff like that, where I was constantly responding to all the FUD. I went through that phase where I'm gung-ho. Anybody posts anything negative about my stocks, I got something to say. I'm pointing out all the FUD. I'm talking to all the shills. Anybody that I think is a hedge fund acting like they're a real human, I have something to say to them. I went through that phase. You know what I'm saying? I went through the phase where I pay attention to nothing but YouTubers. I'm listening to every YouTuber on the TV screen talking about AMC. If you got anything out of your mouth coming out of AMC, I'm listening and I'm sitting there taking notes. Went through that phase. And the phase that I just came out of was, it's time to ignore this thing. And the beautiful thing about it was, my conscience and my intuition, my head told me to ignore it about a month ago, before everything went to hell. Completely to hell, where we are right now. Where this thing has been bleeding for about a month since I stopped looking at it. And that's another one of those coincidences, fortuitous coincidences, that really didn't have nothing to do with my, with me, but more so with I guessed right. It's time to stop looking. Because if I had been paying attention to this thing every day, as it's been bleeding this time, it would have been real tough for me, I think. But, you know, I've learned over time that the best thing to do is to understand that everyone gets a red day. The manipulation is not going to stop. No one's going to turn it off. They are not going to grow a heart for our concerns or our frustration or our mental health or our financial circumstances. On the other side, no different than we're not going to grow a heart for the hole that they're in and the chaos that they're about to cause by standing against us for so long. We don't care about it. Either side doesn't care about one another, so we're willing to let each other fall apart. And I think that's a good thing, because they are corrupt and we are good. To be completely honest with you, and there's no way for both to exist at the same time. So it's not like you're expecting them to let up, in other words. They're going to keep pushing this thing down to as far as they can. And every time you buy the dip, they're going to weigh it down because of it. That's how this works. But you don't care about that because you understand that you're fighting against corruption. So if you're afraid of losing money, then jumping into this play is a bad thing. Picture it like this. Everybody is jumping out on a leap of faith into a situation that's very, very painful and dredging and hard. The reward is beyond their wildest dreams, but the risk and the process of reaching that reward is torturous. Nothing short. It's torturous. Trying to discipline oneself to ignore it, trying to discipline oneself to continue pouring money into something that you know is manipulated, that you know is going to be snatching that same money out of it for a time, maybe a very long time. To see the FUD constantly, see the naysayers, see the manipulation in the background on these forums, and continue to believe in what you're doing. Staying disciplined and not selling your shares to help provide yourself more shares later on, when you realize the consistency of the ebbs and flows of their manipulation, because it does have a pattern to it. You find yourself thinking about cheating the system, and then you remember the rules and how they are supposed to keep all of us very honest. not selling ultimately hurts, or selling rather ultimately hurts the process if you follow the theory, so you don't cheat the process. So that leaves you at a disadvantage to help not only further your mental health concerns, but also put you in a position to be tempted to break those rules. It's a lot of different psychological stuff that aligns with the parallels of keeping a person honest. Like, you can't cheat the system or you're not going to get the reward. You can't cheat the system or you prolong the torture. All of these different things just help me understand that, you know, this is something that is beyond me. When you look at the rules and what's required for you to ultimately see that benefit, when you look at my personal situation and the coincidences that I've seen, when you look at the corruption itself and you dig underneath all of the paperwork that's been done in regards to the due diligence about this particular play, when you realize what you're up against, you truly understand what is the variables that could be connected, because you really don't know exactly who all is affected and who all is infected by the corruption in the stock market. But you can definitely imagine with the amount of money that is on the table, that's a good portion of the world that is wrapped up in the wrong side of this particular case. And you see all the distractions and everything else that's going on around it. You see all this other stuff that's going on that they're trying to get the American public to focus on, and the world's public to focus on, instead of this massive situation that's coming, and how deeply everyone will be affected by it one way or another. You know, it's like they're not preparing people for what's actually happening, which is really sad. It's another psychological aspect of it that I wrestle with. Is knowing what's coming and looking around and seeing the media deliberately not prepare people for this. It's tragic. Honestly, it's absolutely tragic. What is actually going to happen is things are going to disappear overnight if this goes the way we expect it to. Banks, hedge funds, brokerages, certain types of other businesses, they're all affected by this. A lot of their investment money, a lot of the money that they've earned, it's dirty. It's hedge fund money. And, you know, it's going to be a lot of people going to be hurt by this, just like it's going to be a lot of people going to be rich by this. And I just think that the aftermath of all of this is going to be so much more impactful because of the lack of preparation. Yes, are there 10 million people or more who understand what's going on? Absolutely. And there's a big portion of the media who's trying to make those 10 million people look like they're a bunch of idiots who don't know any better and who aren't smart enough to see what it is that they're about to do, what it is that they're forcing to happen, what it is that they're going up against, and all of that. And that's just not true. It's just not true. So that's part of it too. It's just the ebbs and flows of what we're going through. And now you look at the stock, you see it at like 1180 something. And I know there's a lot of people saying, man, I want to buy, but it's just going to keep dipping. Yes, but what I've also known is another aspect of this thing is that you've had days where you've seen it jump 70%. You've had a day where it jumped 100%. You had a day where it dipped, and this may be an exaggeration because I don't remember the exact numbers, but it dipped 20% and ended the day up 30%. Like, you've had days like that. So what I'm saying to you is the power behind these stocks, these meme stocks, is ferocious. And the power, meaning the actual driving force of what is possible based on the stock prices that we've seen. Even if you want to ignore the manipulation, if you believe manipulation doesn't exist, even though we have literal proof. If you're just one of those people that just say, I'm just looking at the stock and I just think everybody's selling off and nothing is awry. Then if you see the extreme highs that this thing has had, you've seen the days on the chart, then you understand that the pressure that this thing is capable of is absolutely above what it is right now. That pressure could push it way further than where you are right now. So, you know, it's just all of that combined just makes you understand that, you know, this process is not a short sighted circumstance. You have to look out and see this without any end to it in order to be successful. in this play. You can't have a date in your mind. You can't have a I'll only hold until in mind, because I had that when I first started buying shares. I'm like, you know what? I'll probably hold till next March. It's next May. I'm still here. So that's what I'm telling y'all. There's never going to be a good day to stop believing in what it is that we're doing. Not if you understand it. If for some reason this drags out, there's no day that real apes will walk away. It's not happening. All we're going to do is continue to make our money and pour more into it. That's it. Hedge funds know that. We know that. It's enough apes out here who make that a fact. It's enough of us with this mentality that will make that a fact. It's not about whether or not you believe people are going to hold it to the squeeze. I think the question is whether or not once it squeezes, how long people will have the resolve to hold after that process begins. But as far as getting it there, will people snuff out the squeeze? Will people just sell their shit? Hell no, they're not. Hell no, they're not. My level of dedication is just one level. I've spoken to people who have different levels of dedication. And when you have this much on the line and this much good that can be done, convincing people to walk away doesn't seem real to me. It doesn't seem real at all, because I understand desperation. Having lived on this level for so long, if we walk away from this play, we don't have a better option to put our money. We're just gonna get back into the system of putting our money wherever it was before. That doesn't make us even a small fraction of what it is that we're hopeful is possible here. So, you know, your 401ks, your investment accounts, your everything that you love to own to give yourself a chance at a good retirement. None of it has the upside that what these meme stocks hold. None of it. None of them. In fact, if you don't even have to put your whole 401k in it if you don't believe in it. A couple shares should take care of your entire concerns if it goes where it's supposed to go. So the possibilities, man, that's what I'm here to continue to reiterate. It's like, yeah, is the thing bleeding out? Are we dealing with a lot? Is there a lot of people out there who are going to be convincing and telling you that we're a bunch of morons who don't have a clue or a chance? Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of people who convince you a lot of different things. At the end of the day, just remember there's someone out here like myself who's already given so much of himself to the situation to where I'm all the way in. I don't really see no other way to go. Even if for some reason something goes completely wrong, the first thing I'm going to do when I get a chance is buy more. I don't care. So that's a lifetime commitment for myself. Lifetime commitment. This ain't about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen well after I've passed away. I don't care. I mean that. I really don't care. The most important thing about this aspect is that I have those shares whenever it happens. That they're credited to my name. I don't really care what happens. In regards to me living off of it, I mean, like, I would like to take care of my family, you know what I'm saying? I would love to do certain things for myself and see a certain type of lifestyle, but you cannot get in this play dreaming about what happens after the play. That is the rule that I've made for myself. You know, it's a mistake. That's what drove me to such a very bad mental space, was dreaming about what the money could do instead of being dedicated to the journey and how long it could possibly take. You gotta love the pain of just being in this space where, yes, things could get better real quick, but no, it don't feel real, because every day you wake up and it hasn't changed yet, and you live in that space for as long as it takes, because you know one day it could happen, and when it does, you being a part of it to that degree will make you I don't even have to finish the sentence, it will make you. That's how real that is. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, y'all, if I were to get $1 million right now, I'd probably buy most of it would be spent into AMC stock. That's how much of an ape I am. You understand what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with how many shares I have at this point. It has nothing to do with how much money I can make. Oh, I want to be a billionaire. It's more about having the biggest possible chunk of their flesh in my mouth. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? That's what it's about. It's about doing my part to kill this monster that is corrupting our entire investment cycle. The world's investment cycle is being manipulated by people who have no interest in helping those who are alive today see their dreams come true. They want to keep us in poverty. They want to use us. They want to pay us low for very, very tough work. They want us to buy air. They want us to overpay for gas that they fluctuate in price at will. They want us to fund everything they got going on while continuing to pour very little into us. You know, and because we are aware of it, we are not too distracted by the shiny objects. We're not lost and confused by their manipulation tactics. We are just focused on them, what they're doing, and how we can stop them. That's it. So if you're an AMC ape, you're a GME ape, that is what you're doing here. If you don't have that mentality I just had for the last 21 minutes, you're in the wrong place. You're going to lose money. That's it. That's literally what's going to happen to you. If you're going into this with any other mentality, you're going to lose money. You're gonna get to a point one day where you're so damn fatigued, and it's going to be at a lower price than what it is when you bought it. That is what their psychological plan is to do that very thing. They've spent the last 15 months trying to devise manipulative ways to get you to that space. That's what they're doing. So if you don't know that, believe it when it comes out of my mouth. They're gonna use everything they can to break you. That's it. So that's what you're in for, ladies and gentlemen. That's my apes rant for the day. Of course, I'm gonna have all the NBA stuff for you later. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not even somebody who has it together. I'm somebody who doesn't have it together. And if you're following me, you understand that I'm living off of pure faith. Pure faith. It's not somewhere you should follow. You shouldn't follow someone who's living off pure faith. You should follow your own faith. Follow your own passions. I have a passion about what it is I'm doing. I've learned to love destroying a manipulative and, bad guys. I like destroying bad guys in this situation. Not the ones they tell me are the bad guys, but the ones that I see are doing the bad things that I can't live with. Yeah, I live for making life hard on them, and I believe they live to make life hard on us. So I'm an actual reaction to that behavior. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching.